Explain like I'm 5. What do people mean when they say billionaires don't get taxed? Nobody has an income of billions of dollars. And in the US, we tax income, not holdings. Billionaires pay taxes on any salaries they get and any capital gains they earn by selling assets. In theory at least. Ignoring fancy accounting tricks, but what makes them billionaires is usually stock or other property they own, which can increase in value exponentially thousands of times while they own it. But they don't pay taxes on that wealth unless they sell that asset and it counts as a capital gain. It's mostly about not understanding how taxes work. There are very few, if any, that become billionaires by earning an income. The vast majority get to that status by owning assets and the appreciation of those assets. You largely pay taxes on realized profits or regular income, of which billionaires have very little and thus pay an appropriate amount. Having a large amount of assets also allows them to take full advantage of any tax code to limit their tax liability. Exactly that. First, if you have enough money, you have many options for perfectly legal tax avoidance. You can move income around between companies, locations, etc., so you're not taxed as much. You can get tax credits for all kinds of things. And many more methods. Even before that, a lot of the ways really rich people make more money are taxed at significantly lower rates than regular income. Capital gains are one example of this, so making money in the stock market. Again, this is all perfectly legal. They mean they aren't getting taxed on the value of their assets raising, which is actually perfectly fine because you don't make money and therefore owe a tax when the value of an asset you own increases. When a billionaire makes money, as in cashes out on an asset and makes money, he pays a tax. The highest earners in America pay the vast majority of taxes. This idea of fair share is unfounded and misplaced. Fair share would be a flat tax for everyone. Billionaires don't have a job where they get paid a wage and that wage is subject to income tax. Instead, they make investments, and when they cash in those investments, potentially they can pay capital gains tax. But that is often subject to all kind of exceptions, loopholes, so they may not pay that tax either. They are wrong in nearly all cases. They just manage their assets and finances in ways to reduce tax. Not a single billionaire pays no tax. They don't have income through wage salary, so they don't get taxed. Whatever they earn through their business is put back into their business or other things like stocks. The way they typically get their money to spend is from borrowing money, and debt can't be taxed. To add to what some people have been saying, billionaires also have small incomes on paper but can flex their assets to take out gigantic loans to pay for their lifestyle. If you take out a $1 million loan, you don't get taxed on it because it's a loan. The interest rates they can work down to almost zero because they have a lot of assets to back up their credit. Also, if they have a solid stock base, what they make in interest annually far exceeds the interest rates on their loans. Billionaires don't pay taxes the same as regular people because they live of assets, things they own, instead of money they get from jobs, which is taxed much more than assets. The actual money they spend is granted from loans they get against the assets they have, which again is taxed less. They practically get to borrow money cheaply because they already have a lot of money. People think that billionaires can borrow money against their assets and pay no tax because of this. But this is the argument of someone who understands nothing about how taxes or finance works. Billionaires do pay a lot of taxes. The companies that they own pay huge amounts of taxes. The income they actually made when they became billionaires was taxable and they paid it. If they borrow money from the bank, they will have to sell their assets to cover it at some point. And then they will pay, you guessed it, income tax. owe an interest rate to the bank as well. It's dishonest to say they don't pay taxes, but they definitely exploit some loopholes. I would say the absolute biggest loophole is creating your own foundation and being able to sell your gains in that vehicle tax-free. People like Bill Gates fly around in a fleet of private jets that their foundation owns. It's a total tax dodge. All that being said, Bill Gates has probably paid billions in taxes in his lifetime. So it's not like he's literally paying zero taxes. Billionaires don't collect paychecks via payroll, so they don't pay payroll tax. However, they are compensated via other methods such as stocks. On stocks they pay capital gains taxes, though they are at a lower rate than payroll tax. Elon Musk makes the single largest tax payment of any human that has ever lived. Reddit billionaires don't pay taxes.